All right, I've got to unload a few things, predominantly Cove heaters and a shop sink. We need to get heat in this house so we can start doing things like hardwood floors and all that other stuff, installing doors and not have fluctuations in the heat. So that's what's on the docket for today, is Cove heaters. It's a beautiful morning. Hopefully this rain ended last night. We can dry out a little bit. So as I'm wiring these Cove heaters, just all my labels, like this is the jump to the next room, this is the out to this Cove heater, and this is the in. I labeled them all out at the edge and then way back in, and then before I start clipping them off, I throw a few little notes up here just in case I have to walk away and then forget. My wife's uncle came by, he's like, when I wired my house, every outlet, I didn't put those labels, so I was like, what was this for? And I was just like, anyway, so rolling along with wiring, trying to get all the Cove heater thermostats in. I think I'm one thermostat short somehow. So, and then I'll start mounting the Cove heaters in the living room, trying to get some regular heat going. So I have to run these little space heaters to keep that hardwood flooring at a good temperature. Even though once we get the house set to a temperature, what it's going to be normally, we'll open up all the ends and let them sit for 7 days, all these boxes, and let them acclimatize and get all set. And then I'll start laying those floors. And then we'll shut off all these space heaters. Hopefully by the end of the day, we've got our own heat cranking. More and more wiring. Sometimes you look at these and you think, what the heck? One of my little strategies is when I know power is going out on 2 lines, but 2 lines are in or jump power, like this is jumping up over to here for the vanity light, I'll wire up my switches first on the outlines, and then I have these little labels here: outline, in, jump, out fan, outlight, jump, outlight, in, jump, out fan. But then just in case, I like to wire what's going out first, and then I have all my little, and then I just tie all these together the way they need to be tied together, roll them back in, and then zip, zip, put those in. So, okay, we got the bathroom all wired up. Lights are working. Sweet. GFCI, and this is the first in the run. Second, I tested those outlets, they're working fine. And this switch is covered because I gotta go grab the vanity light from the storage unit. It didn't make its way here yet. Got the thermostat wired, and so as soon as I throw that Cove heater in and the vanity light, this will all be done. Put the cover on the fan. So, nice, looking good. Do the mudroom, I think. This closet's done, that's right. Yeah, I'll do the mudroom. One of the things I do wish I had done is, I started that way, but I didn't continue. I just add the little notation of where the power is coming from. Like, so if I say in from other outlet or in from the panel, just because sometimes I don't know the sequencing exactly, and I have to click the power on and use my tester to test which lines are hot and then kind of piece it together back in my mind. It's just saying instead of just saying in from the panel or in from the GFCI outlet, or a few of them I had marked first in the run GFCI. And I think I just started assuming I'd remember, and sometimes I don't exactly, especially on a sequence like this where they're tied together, the switches and the outlets. For those of you that don't tie those together and do your lights separate, you don't have to worry about that. But anyway, I have really good notes. Just a couple extra little layers of detail would just help me sort things out in my mind perfectly. Looks like our internet service guys are here to at least do some of the work. We weren't scheduled till like the 23rd for the install, but I don't know if they're just doing prelim stuff or if they're actually here to hook up. It'd be kind of nice if they're actually here to hook up. Working on the master. Just got everything dialed in here. I'll kick on the power so we can have some lights in here instead of trying to do this stuff. Looks like our internet service is hooked up, at least the box is in. And then that's a junction box. And then my conduit line is behind there that goes into our, right next to the electrical panel, and they'll zip that line in, which is super, it's a thin line, it's a fiber optic line. We're lucky enough to have that here in our rural place. So, look at all that snow up there. That might just stick, at least on the peaks. It's early October. Get the elk pushing around. I've got to get this back done. All this is supposed to be delivered this week, and then hopefully next week sometime I'll get that done and get these thrown. Looking good. It's getting there. You got some natural light now. Yeah. That's a little better. Oh, the stripe comes out to the... There. I didn't know the stripe was coming out into here. It looks nice.
I don't know. What do you...
I don't care. Looks nice, I think.
I wasn't going to. I was going to run it long way. Even here, I was trying to conserve stuff. But I was like, no, I could center all the walls.
All right, installing these King Cove heaters. So it's pretty simple. These don't have brackets that mount first to keep it away from the wall. You mount this directly flush with the wall and just send your wires into that hole. So having done this before, I knew I put all my wires 8.5 inches down from the ceiling, so that when this is 7.5 down, but you have to be at least 6 off the floor and at least 2.5 down. So I just picked a normal height, and I tried to lay my wires out knowing they'd come in right here about 1 inch from the end, so that it spaced these pretty evenly across the windows and across this space here. If you don't do that, it can be really haphazard and you have these weird giant gaps, and then it looks like you just randomly threw them up everywhere. And then over my windows, I tried to anticipate the wire coming in so I could center it over the window. These are tricky because you have one hole to come in from. Normally, when there's a bracket that you mount it to and there's a space between this and the wall, your wire can come into that space and then go into the hole or into the space, and so you have some wiggle room. But with this kind, I don't really have that luxury, so I'm a little nervous about like the kitchen window if it's going to be off center, and then the bedroom windows too. Not sure. We'll just have to see about this. Anyway, and you just wire them so it's looped in a circuit, and there's instructions. I'm not gonna, this isn't a how-to, just showing you. So hopefully I can get these 3 up, and then I think these are the only ones on this circuit, and so I can click it on and get this room heating up naturally. All right, so we're wiring these up. It's pretty easy. Grounds, whites, and that back element wire connects to the whites because those have power in this setup. Back to the panel, black and white goes into the breaker. And then this element on this thing, the cover, which is just hanging here right now, and I'll slide it over and put it into place here in a second. This hooks to the blacks, so it creates a loop through there with the element in here. Pretty easy wiring diagram. So, and on these I'm jumping, so I've got 2 wires coming out, 2 wires coming out, and then 1 at the end because it ends the circuit. These 3 are just on their own circuit. Whereas other Cove heaters, I have multiple Cove heaters on the circuit in different rooms. So it jumps from thermostat to thermostat. For me, that's the way I did it. Their thermostats are all independent for each room, but I pigtailed power off the thermostat. I could have jumped from, well, anyway, doesn't matter. So the way these work, I'll just clip these panels on the ends. I should probably be wearing gloves because sometimes these have a chalky surface and you can see smudges all over them, but oh well. But this is just empty in here, and there's a heating element in here, and it sends a circuit through. The other element's back in here, but it only heats here. And as this face heats, or this element heats, it's a convection thing, and it draws cold air up and spills it off the top, if I'm remembering right. And so it's just a natural heat. So no noise, doesn't blow, no fans. And you put them above the windows and doors, and it's pretty amazing how it can heat up a space like this, or at least keep it at a moderate temperature. It doesn't really like crank the heat in a room this big. Smaller rooms, yes, it can really get it up into the 80s. Just one of these. But we have a wood burning stove in here for our primary needs. In fact, in our other house, we often turn these off and just use our wood burning stove. So anyway, I'll wire these on and go up and click this on and see if these work. Hopefully. Okay, those are in. Look pretty decent. Good layout, kept them all level, 7.5 inches from ceiling to the top, so they look clean. Now the real trick, click on power and then turn on our thermostat. She's in there painting and doing real estate business. All right, the first of the coves, living coves, so that's the second. That's this big 20 amp double pole. Pop that over. Let's go see what happens. Turn this guy off. All right, let's see. Yeah, put that at 70. It takes a while for those heating elements, so it's not like you can just reach up and see if they're producing heat. I think I feel heat. I hope I do. check on it in a little bit. Little family of deer. Where'd those deer go? Took off for the hills, I think, to go bed down. All right, let's see if it's the next morning after I put the Cove heaters in. Let's see. Feels warm in here, but it was also a warmer night than we've had. But yeah, it feels pretty decent in here. Cove heaters on. Yeah, I can feel warmth over here. Yeah. Feels really cozy over here. And make sure to grab a ladder. These things are really warm. As soon as you come up into here, it feels like it's 80 degrees, but it's just spilling off the top here. It's warm all the way out, several feet out on the ceiling. I mean, not hot, but just warm. But you can feel it's cool right here underneath these things. So it just pulls up, heats, and then spills out. Feels pretty decent in here. I do need to get that one going. There's one in the hallway, one above that door. And then that should just keep this room going good. I'll probably try and put up the 3 bedrooms too and kick those on today. But I have work meetings all day, so it'll be trickier. We do have light in the master. I finished everything in here. He's gonna start tiling. I think he's done with the shower now. Man, it looks nice. Take out those clips. He still needs to grout it and do the floor. The floor, he just prepped the surface here. He's putting in some type of, yeah, those right there. But it looks really sharp. So glad we had the brains to put the valve here. So we have to go in there like our last shower and turn it on and get hit with water each time. I really like that metal edging he did. Looks really sharp. Pretty fancy. Well, Ty Guy's here. He's putting in the base for the rest of our tile. And I'm doing Cove heaters. I've got all the Cove heaters set. I might change this one. This is the only one that's off center because I set the cord coming out before drywall at 30 for a 36, but this is only 34. So it looks 2 inches shy. But I'd have to dig into the wall and then patch it. I just don't know if I care, but every other one of them is centered above the door or window. There's that one. Living room is operational. There's that one. And then I'm doing the bedrooms. So I think I have 2 left. And then I can flick power on to 1 line, but I'm 1 thermostat short, which drives me crazy. I have to go 3, almost 4 hours round trip to get another one at Home Depot. Frustrating. It's a beautiful day. My son is running a cross country meet right now. Look at those mountains. Over in Pocatello, Idaho. I'm hoping he does well. He's been struggling. Switching on those coves up here. Nothing popped. Let's go check them. Put it at 65. Do this one too. 65. Do this one. 65. Do that one at 65. That's the window, if you remember. I wasn't thinking when I put the conduit in before we even put any wood on the cement foundation. I set the conduit and pipes, had the pipe stubbed up. And I didn't put it far enough that way, so I wasn't thinking, but when it went time to frame, we had to shift this window over and then cram that in the corner, so everything looks a little bit wonky in this room. And then this one sits on here. I added this last minute and it was easiest to bounce it off this line at the time. I should have just connected it to these, but oh well. All right, nothing tripped, so let those heat up. Double check the trip. Looks good. Let's go check his tile work. Look at that. Nice. Excited. Yeah, I can tell they're working because I can smell that slight burn that you smell the first little bit and then it goes away. We are looking good. I already feel heat. Well, that should get us rolling. I need to go buy that thermostat. Come back late tonight. That's it. Oh, we already had the metal roofing stuff delivered, but we had everything. I ordered 2 glue lamb beams, 2 18-footers, so we can kick them off in both directions. I hope this is centered. I didn't double check that. Dadgummit, I should have. I was hoping I could just come straight off this. 18 feet in each direction. So. And then all the lumber's there. I think we'll be good. So, I don't know what these are. Oh, these are my 6x6 posts. So. Sweet. So, hopefully that'll just take a couple of days, maybe next week, to slap those up into place. Man, it's a beautiful day with all the snow-capped mountains here in early October. I might take the next 2 days and go elk hunting with my son since he's out of school. So the porch lights are looking good. Stop by the house later tonight after grabbing my stuff. And it is warm and cozy in here. So everything's working good. The Cove heaters are doing great. And I don't even have this end clicked on yet. So feels pretty cozy in here too. So he's got that prepped for tile, and the floor in there prepped for tile, and then Looks like he's got more work to do in here. And then he said he might do this as well, but it doesn't look like it. So, all right, I'll be back in the morning to wire up my last thermostat and and possibly finish out the wiring if I can in the morning. Man, it's cruising along. Exciting.